Welcome back, everybody, to the Shades of Red podcast with me, Kraigen, and Levi. Um,
Hi.
apparently, nobody else could make it. Thank you, Levi. Um, they're just bums, for real, for real. Cam might join midway through
Yeah,
because it's almost 11. But
yeah. You said about
Idiot.
22 minutes, probably.
yeah, well, he said between 11 and 12, so whatever.
Damn. Who knows?
But
What a great fucking time distinction. Just expect me within an hour. It's like a fucking cable company. I'm coming anytime Tuesday through Thursday, 12 to 5.
delivering your canopy.
Yeah, who delivers a fucking canopy at 10:13 p.m.? It's 50 pounds.
50. What service was it?
FedEx.
Oh, of course. That makes sense.
Yeah, the driver probably hates himself. So.
Yeah, actually. He
You
probably
didn't even put it
forgot
on
it and
the
had to
porch.
go back and get it.
It wasn't even on my porch. It was on my sidewalk.
All right. How do you want to start this? Do you want to start with the successes, the failures this
I know
year?
it's your show, dude.
What?
It's your show. Pick one.
Oh. Well, we'll do this coming week's games last, I guess. So we'll do let's look at teams that we're surprised are doing well this year.
Wow. You took initiative on that one.
It was the first thing I had in my So yeah.
Your list that was replicated, yeah.
Yeah, my replicated list that I double copied. Yeah.
Copy and pasted.
Yep, I sure did. Um Who's doing well this year that surprises you guys?
I think Texas is doing pretty well. I think they're ahead of schedule from what I expected from them.
Yeah, I know Joey does not like that answer.
It's fine. I don't not like that answer. It's just Texas fans are gonna be like, Texas is back, baby, and it's just gonna be a whole thing. It's super annoying.
Call him a slur. Call him
I
a
don't
slur.
think you're a delusion.
So I was watching the Alabama Texas game a couple weeks ago, and it was like lose for me because it was like if Texas wins, Texas fans are gonna come and say Texas is back. If Alabama wins, Alabama wins. You know.
Yeah, a lot of Alabama fans will say they're back. Those Bama fans have no expectations.
So I was half pulling for Texas, but I was half like, I hope they just lose.
Yeah.
I am not gonna give credit to Appalachian State because they're a bunch of fucking assholes.
Okay.
I think there's a couple teams that I will say. I'm gonna start off with I think one of the more obvious ones is Florida State.
Yeah, they've been doing really well.
They've, and it's not just you get any credit from me when you knock off Brian Kelly, but I think the way that they responded after Jordan Travis got injured last week to come back and win that game was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And so
Was
they
it
have Boston College,
Rodman?
and they probably don't have Jordan Travis from what I've been seeing, unless it changed. And so if they could keep that up with what's that guy's name? Tate Rodemaker, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Rodmaker.
If Rodemaker can get him, they have Forest than at NC State and then Clemson. So
Yeah, that's a tough 3 weeks there. That's
without
Jordan Travis especially.
So I've been impressed with them. I think I'd say the other team that I have been impressed with, and this is not to piss somebody off, but I think Washington State.
Yeah, they've
has been.
They left off. Don't hate that answer.
I really thought we were about to go down another meme year with Wazoo because they can only be Idaho by 7.
Yeah,
I think they're just going to end up being a team that is just they're going to win games and it's just going to be ugly and this is how it's going to be.
Yeah,
I agree with you on the Wazoo answer because I didn't even think about them honestly.
I think both Washington schools have been, but I just think with I think Wazoo, um, a little more so than Washington, just because you kind of expect it's a standard that Washington kind of has.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I think
Washington really just had one real down year and has had to come back from that.
yeah, the whole thought around the program too has been that this isn't a rebuild year at all. This is bounce back immediately because we still have the talent to compete. We still
I,
have a
I
bunch of
was
guys that we were able to keep on offense, especially at wide receiver. We've got a lot of guys that decided to stay and play for the new coaching staff. So
I was very impressed with I didn't watch the game because it was going on simultaneously with while I was at Carter Finley, but
yeah,
uh, when we kept looking at score updates, it seemed as if the Washington Michigan State game was a lot more of a blowout than what the score would indicate it was.
it was. Yeah, they didn't start moving the ball. Michigan State. They finally started letting Thorne throw a little bit more towards the end of the game, and they were catching up a little bit. So,
But
coming into
Michael
the
Peters Jr. is going to work out, I think, surprisingly.
yeah,
Yeah, he struggled at Indiana.
yeah,
Well, who can blame him?
He,
First of
he
all,
he he got hurt though, I believe. Didn't he tear his ACL one year?
I don't know, but how many
injury.
quarterbacks do you think would not struggle at Indiana?
Well,
Yeah,
fair.
Indiana.
That's fair.
Yeah. Well,
Um, I do remember they held on with Ohio State one year when he was a quarterback, but then he did get hurt in that game.
yeah, he was 1-1 against Michigan State too at Indiana. That was a big talking point coming into the game.
Yeah, that's really big for him. I'm glad he's at a program now that he can really do something and have some talent around him
Yeah,
because
we'll talk
Indiana
about
doesn't
that.
really pull.
Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit more later in depth. I've
Yeah,
got
yeah.
him as one of my picks for something later. So.
All right. There are a couple of schools that really surprised me this year. Kansas being one, which is kind of surprising, but not super surprising because I do like Leopold as a coach. Um, but after struggling a lot, for the last like 15 years, they've come
Yeah,
out this season. They're 3-0.
yeah,
And it's not like they didn't played anybody horrendous. Like West Virginia is a very mid team.
I
yeah. They're
Um,
not.
let's be real. I think West Virginia is a very bad football team.
they are. They're bottom middle Big 12. They're
Yeah,
Neil Brown will be fired after this year, but then they turn around and then they beat Houston at Houston.
yeah.
But Houston
Houston.
lost to Texas Tech the week before. I also don't think they're that good. I don't really have any opinion towards Kansas.
Well, I don't
And
I, I don't see Kansas losing this weekend to the other pick I think is doing really well this year is Duke. Um, Duke has
Yeah,
played Duke played Temple really well. Didn't even let him score. Um, and I think they beat a really bad Northwestern team.
yeah. Northwestern is struggling bad.
Yeah, they
They
are in
don't
the
look good at
dump.
all.
And then they, beat North Carolina A&T 49-20, whatever, third string players in.
I think if I'm going to give for Duke credit, I think that they have a good chance of being bowl eligible this year, not because of. I think they beat Kansas, and the only reason I say that is because their quarterback Riley Leonard through these 3 games has been phenomenal at not turning the ball over and scoring.
Yep.
Yeah, that
And
always helps a lot.
I mean, even against, I mean, he didn't play great against Northwestern, but he managed the game to get through. And so, I mean, it's, I mean, we'll see, I guess, I mean, how the season plays out. I want to say Duke wins, but I really wouldn't be shocked either way.
yeah, I mean, they're two teams that have really struggled the last few years. Um,
That's an understatement.
Yeah, it is. They've been horrendous. A team I didn't realize was 3-0, but then I just looked at their schedule and it's really not that impressive. Maryland, but they'll get blown out by Michigan this weekend. Every one
Yeah.
of their opponents has been just a G5 opponent. Charlotte, Buffalo, and some FCS team, I believe.
Yep.
No, SMU.
SMU, they were a topic because I believe their coach is from TCU, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they're making a rival. That's pretty fucked up.
That was a big talking point on Dallas News and stuff because they are big rivals and
He went blood to crib. That's fucking
taken very
nuts.
well.
Syracuse at 3-0, for being a pretty bad football team, and their coach on the hot seat this year, Dino Babers.
He does this shit. He always does this
He
shit.
does, and then they always extend his contract, and then he'll go 3-9 for the next 3 years, and then he'll go 8-4, and they'll re-sign him.
I will say I do think Syracuse is going to be a better team than I thought, even with Dino Babers shit going on. But I also think that they kind of ran into two teams that are not good, not as good as people thought that they
You
were.
talking about like Louisville and Purdue?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we know UConn's going to be shit.
Yeah. I was just making sure. You don't know. So, but
I'd say the only other team that I'd like to point out is Oregon State.
Yeah,
I was
absolutely.
my last as well. They're 3-0 right now.
I don't understand why they played neutral field for I guess Montana State, but they've been pretty good.
Yeah, two pretty tough historically teams in the Midwest. They knocked off week 1 and 2. So Boise State week 1 at home, and then Fresno State week 2.
I mean, they I believe, was that the game that Hayner got injured?
Yeah.
You get injured next week.
Yeah, he got injured against USC, I believe. He still played some at USC. So that was the week after.
And USC, Lincoln Riley is looking good there his first year, of course.
Yeah.
Starting 3-0, plays 3-0 Oregon State this weekend.
Yeah, that'll be first kind of real test for them, at least.
Yeah, because they played Rice, Stanford, and Fresno State. So I mean, but they're blowing them out like they should. But
yeah, I mean, Fresno State, their offense is still just loaded. They managed to keep everybody beside, despite having their coach leave. So
right, yeah, that's really tough for a new coach to come in and have to keep all those players.
Old coach, actually, but.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they brought an old coach back. I forget his name, but.
And pulled a Rutgers, huh? Rutgers also 3-0 this year, but I think we discussed that. We did, yeah.
Yeah.
But all right. So I think that's about everything for the surprising teams. How about some teams that have kind of failed the hype that they were, brought into this season with?
Louisville,
3 weeks in.
Malik Cunningham. What the fuck is going on? Holy shit.
Yeah, it's not been great at Louisville.
Absolutely. What the fuck is going on? I sincerely thought that team. I thought Malik Cunningham was gonna have this is gonna be his year that he pole vaulted.
His Lamar Jackson year.
Schedule in the off season when I looked at State's schedule, I was really scared about going to Louisville. They have I don't know what's going on. It's not good though.
Yeah, they've just been really bad so far.
I mean, they just haven't looked good at all. Nothing they've done has looked good.
Yeah, Nebraska's been having
their win didn't even look good, so I don't know what I don't know.
Yeah.
Nebraska, of course, goes to Ireland, plays Northwestern, loses.
Is that a surprise?
Do what?
I think if you would have told me this before the season that Nebraska was going to start off 1-3, I would not have been surprised.
especially not with North Dakota and Georgia Southern being here. You'd think that
Yeah,
they'd be at
Georgia,
2-2 at
Georgia
the
Southern
least.
actually beats
But Nebraska,
It's Georgia Southern is a little surprising, so for not being able to beat them, but
I don't know. Clay Helton knows balls.
he does not.
I,
He is
I,
terrible.
but here's the thing: is I mean, ever since we met Reed, I've followed Nebraska a lot closer than I normally would have. I feel like they dropped these games in the recent years. They've dropped these games a lot.
They have, yeah. Under
I mean, they lose
Frost.
to Troy a couple of years ago.
To Troy? Yeah, I think so.
They lost to Troy a couple of years ago,
Mhm.
like 2019. It's just it's same old shit. The Scott Frost thing went on way, way, way longer than it should have.
Yeah, and I think it was just hard for Nebraska fans and the administration to really accept that Frost wasn't their guy because
Yeah.
he wasn't an alum.
They accepted that wrong. They accepted that. It's just,
Yeah, not a winning quarterback is kind of tough, but
you put yourself now in a really bad situation, and this year's was already lost, so they don't really give a shit about that. But they're. I said this. I believe you were there, Kraigen. Nebraska's they're really teetering on the program being a attractive program anymore.
yeah,
They're really teetering on it.
Yeah, Nebraska football, just their fans are still pretty. They're fair weather for sure, or not fair weather, rather. The opposite of fair weather. Sorry.
Yeah, they're
Diehard.
intense. They're
Yeah.
in Memorial Stadium, Nebraska, when that team is on, it's a great environment to be in. But
Yeah,
they have not been good ever since.
not since the 90s. So
I mean, no. When Bo Pelini was there, they were
they were
won
okay.
the championship. They were winning 10 games. They had one decent season with Mike Riley, but since then, it's just it's not been good.
Nothing's worked.
It's I'm not sure. I'm not sure who the answer is for Nebraska. They'll find that here, but it's going to be a long season.
Who's actually going to come in and fix the culture without like a long process now? Because it's looking bad. So
I think I've been hearing the Urban Meyer thing, but I think they really need to. They really need to take this serious. And not do something like that.
They need a long-term option for sure.
No, absolutely. Because Urban Meyer will come in and he'll fake some sort of illness again and then take a job somewhere else just doing whatever.
Well, it's not even that. It's just Nebraska's really lack stability.
Yeah, they need a foundation first before they bring in a guy like Meyer. So
you're going to bring in the opposite of stable, and they really need to find somebody that can turn that program around. And they have to be patient with it too, because it's
it's going to be tough. Yeah,
that's going to be a long process. I mean, I'm looking at their schedule right now, and I honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if this is like a 3-9 year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for them.
It could be 2-10.
So,
if they lose to Indiana next year, I think they seriously could go 2-10.
There are a couple of teams that are really struggling this year that I can think of. One of them being, even though they got in Spencer Rattler, South Carolina is really struggling to get anything really going. Sure, they put up 30 on Arkansas, but Missouri State put up 28 on Arkansas.
Yeah, is it struggling now because Rattler's not good? But
they don't have any quarterback depth is their problem. Their quarterback last year transferred to Virginia Tech, Jason Brown, and he's not even starting there. They had a big win over Georgia State, and then of course they only scored 7 on Georgia, which might just be an accomplishment actually.
I disagree.
You disagree?
Yeah, I don't think I think South Carolina is doing exactly what I thought that they would do so far.
I mean, they've got a tough schedule anyway. I mean, they've got Charlotte this weekend. They'll probably blow them
They're
out of the
gonna
water.
they're gonna be 3-2, and I'm being serious. Charlotte is really bad. South Carolina State,
Yeah,
they should be 3-2.
I
But
agree.
I mean I see. I really thought that they were a 6-6 team coming into the season,
And
I
they
think
might end
that
up being a 6-6 team. They might get a
they
seventh win somewhere in there, whether it be Texas A&M or Florida.
no, I think they'd struggle to get the 6th win. I think that
You
they'll
think
be
so?
3-2. And who are they going to beat other than Missouri and Vanderbilt? Who else are they going to beat?
Maybe
Maybe
Florida or A&M.
they won't beat Florida.
You know,
Not
not with Billy Napier there.
Not in Florida.
I
If it
don't
was in
know.
Columbia, maybe, but I don't think they're going to win in Florida.
Yeah,
It'll be
I don't know.
interesting.
It feels. I think a lot of their season will depend on just how fast they can get chemistry going with Rattler and the receivers, because it hasn't worked so far. They just look a little bit
Yeah.
off still. Speaking of Texas A&M, that would be my pick for who's a little bit of a surprise struggling. So because they dropped the game to App State and struggled with a rebuilding Miami team. So
They did. They really could not score on App State. They scored.
Yeah.
It was 17-10. Yeah.
17-14.
Oh, it was 17-14. Yeah. I knew it was one score. I just forgot which score.
yeah,
Um,
I saw the. I knew Texas A&M was gonna underperform. I didn't expect it to be that quick.
yeah. They finally went to Max Brown, I think his name is, the LSU transfer. They
Yeah,
finally
Yeah.
decided to skip him, so they stopped dragging their feet on that. So there should be some decent SEC experience there with him instead of the guy they were starting. So maybe they can turn around a little bit, but it's not looking great right now.
all right. Now,
2 weeks.
my favorite struggling team, and I love to see it, Notre Dame. Marcus
Absolutely.
Freeman. Struggling.
Yeah,
he got his first win. Be respectful.
He did.
Show some respect.
He barely got that first win, but yeah, he got that first win against Cal.
yeah, and not a very good Kyle team either. So
Yeah, but I mean, they took a big loss to Marshall,
yeah,
and I mean, they only lost by 11 to Ohio State. So so a lot of people thought, Notre Dame's not going to be that bad this year, and they come out and they just drop an egg against Marshall.
yeah.
And
That was
they're at North Carolina this week, and North Carolina can put up points, but North Carolina has no defense at all.
yeah. And
So,
is their offense still good though? Actually,
well,
didn't they struggle last year?
North Carolina?
Yeah,
Nah, I don't think their offense was that bad last year. Their defense has just been bad.
got you.
But they don't
It was
have.
a
I mean,
different-
this is their first year without Sam Howell. They've got Drake May or whatever his name is.
It was a completely different team. I mean, we'll see. I mean, they only put up 35 on Georgia State, which I thought that they would put up more.
Yeah,
They almost lost that game.
Georgia State's always been one of those teams that comes in and tries to get you upset, like they did Tennessee. That was like 2018, but still.
The low scoring affairs are not going to get it done against USC. I can tell you that they're going to score more than 24 points.
yeah,
Yeah,
And so
absolutely.
Notre Dame has scored 10. Well, they scored 10, 21, and 24 so far.
Yeah.
It's just I don't think it's going to work against UNC.
I don't think it's necessarily a change in head coach. I think it's just a change in the offensive staff. Whether it be the coordinator or the quarterback's coach or the running back coach or the offensive line coach or just a different quarterback altogether.
It wasn't really the quarterback. It was just their offensive line really bad. Last year was horrific.
For Notre Dame's offense?
I thought you meant UNC.
No, I was talking about Notre Dame.
Oh, Notre Dame. There's no help.
UNC's offense is fine. UNC's defense is not fine.
What do you mean? They only gave up 61 to App State.
Yeah, most of which was scored in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, exactly. Clutch.
Yeah.
They got it done what they needed to get done.
Is there anyone else who's really underperforming? Baylor took that loss to BYU, which was a surprise to a lot of people. And then BYU turns around and loses to Oregon bad.
Yeah, I think the Oregon loss for BYU is more surprising than them beating Baylor.
Yeah, I think you're right.
They do this crap though. You think that they have a team, and then they
Yeah.
something like this.
Kind
What it
of.
is now.
Their role in college football is just basically chaos. So
Yeah, it is.
I think, at least for Baylor, I think they really, they benefit from being in the Big 12, just like the actual only team that actually cares about defense.
yeah, them and Oklahoma State are the really only two teams that actually kind of care about defense right now or in the past. So
Yeah, so you get Kansas, West Virginia going 55-42, and you're not going to get that against Baylor, and so their offense can put up enough points to get to a point where they know the defense isn't going to give it up.
Right. All right. I think that's it for underperforming teams. So far in the season, 3-4 games in for some teams. What are some breakout talents you guys have seen across the nation this year?
Michael Penis Jr.
Absolutely, I would have to agree.
Absolutely.
That's all that needs to be said.
Yeah, that is the standout for sure.
Yeah, he's hit the ground running. It's been awesome to see. I mean, as a Washington fan, it's been just night and day from the offense last year with all our coordinators there, and then the quarterback Dylan Morris, just a massive difference. Morris has gotten some garbage time this year so far too, and he's just completely different. He still looks really bad. So compared to Penix, it's just night and day.
Yeah, I'd like to say Dax Hollifield, the linebacker for Virginia Tech. Since Virginia Tech has got a whole new defensive staff and a head coach who was also a linebackers coach and specializes with linebackers, Dax is tied for 5th, I believe, in tackles this year. Maybe that was something else, but he's been raking a lot, and he's just been absolutely crushing it for them. But again, that's a name people won't know until later in the season, probably. Otherwise, you've got Diggers for UL Monroe. He's got 3 interceptions this year. I actually watched a bit of that Alabama ULM game, and Diggers picked off.
A dangerous last name.
Yeah, he picked off Bryce Young, and then the immediately following drive, ULM quarterback tried to throw a check down to the running back, and the running back wasn't watching, so it bounced off his head, and Alabama took it for a pick 6.
Yeah, Will Anderson pick 6.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
That was hilarious. I was watching the rerun of that, and I saw that, and it was just, oh man.
Yeah.
One that I do want to say is a little guy out in Greenville, North Carolina, called Keaton Mitchell. He is averaging nearly 10 yards a fucking carry.
Wow.
Dang.
41 carries, 381 yards, 9.4 yards average.
That's awesome.
He's clocking he had an 81-yard touchdown. His top speed was clocked at like 27.4 or something.
Yeah. That's crazy.
He's fast.
So I didn't realize until the other day that Tanner Morgan and Ibrahim were still at Minnesota, but Ibrahim is having a good year so far. He's got 464 rushing yards.
Ibrahim got hurt last year, so I was going to mention that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily call him a breakout, but more of a comeback because the ACL.
Yeah, he's absolutely a comeback player. Yeah.
So, yeah, he's hasn't missed a beat. He looks awesome so far.
Rashee Rice from SMU. 491 receiving yards so far this year through 3 games.
Yeah, he had a good year last year.
The one that Raleigh should get more recognition because people would talk about Caleb Williams and how good they're doing, but Dylan Gabriel is I have my doubts. I mean, they haven't really played good teams, but so far he has been doing good.
Yeah, he's stepped into that Oklahoma offense pretty seamlessly, it seems. So he's had a good year so far.
Yeah, he has been actually doing really well with them.
Yeah. I think a huge story basically around probably breakout prospects right now is the transfer portal stuff because all these quarterbacks are transferring and looking great right now.
Yeah. I'd like to give a shout out to Adrian Martinez. You suck. You should probably just stop.
Hey, shout out to Tate Martell for never making it at UNLV.
Serious. Adrian Martinez reeks, dude. Who did Kansas lose to?
I don't know. I'd like to say, even though he's on a really bad team, Xander Mueller for Northwestern has 6 sacks this year and 2 interceptions.
Nice.
This is the first year he's actually gotten like a whole lot of play time, though. He's got 20 tackles.
They lost to fucking Tulane. Come on, I'm being serious right now. He sucks. End your life. Okay, don't go that far. But holy shit. 21 of 31 for 150 yards.
That's fire, dude. What is that? 3 yards per pass?
4.8 yards. A fucking throw.
Check downs every play against Tulane. It's kind of sad.
41.3 QBR.
That's check downs to Deuce Vaughn, too.
Against Tulane. At home. I rest my case.
I believe a lot of people want him benched. A lot of Kansas State fans very upset with their team right now, as well as a lot of Colorado fans. A lot of Colorado fans want their coach.
Yeah. Why are they upset though? Colorado sucks. But
I don't know.
Their roster is horrible. But
I'd be pretty upset if my team sucked too. So.
I mean, to be fair, I was upset for 6 years.
I mean, let's be fair. You come out, you get, you're all excited for the new football season. Your team comes out, they lose 38-13, 41-10, and then 49-7. I might not watch football again.
Yeah, actually.
That's kind of tough, yeah.
It is tough, and it's just tough to be a Colorado fan.
Yeah. And then the apology that the athletic department put out, oh my God, just
Georgia Tech fans, actually, as well as Colorado fans, are calling for the firing of their head coach. Even the most positive of Georgia Tech fans, from what I've seen on Twitter, are calling for Jeff Collins to be fired.
Jeff Collins should have been fired 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks. Brighton's been on the wall.
So
how many years can you go through 9 before you get fired? Jeff Collins will find out.
It only took Scott Frost 4. Not even a whole 4.
He went 5-7 one year.
Yeah. That's the year that Reed said that they were back.
Jeff Collins is literally going 3-9 every single year. I'm pretty sure. I think every single year has been 3-9.
Georgia Tech fans say he's 9-3. 9 wins in 3 seasons.
Praise Hill, praise Dale.
That's right, baby. All right, how are the newly hired coaches doing? Billy Napier at Florida is one that comes to mind. Brent Pry, Virginia Tech. Washington has.
Kalen DeBoer.
Yep. I believe, and then of course Fresno State had to take their old coach back. Well, they didn't have to, but they did. They rehired him.
We have a lot. Actually, I have a list, so we can go in order.
Yeah, sure.
Still have the list. Yeah.
So Duke, Mike Elko replacing David Cutcliffe.
That's right.
I mean, 3-0, good start.
Unfortunately, I think him starting 3-0 against these very iffy opponents is going to give Duke football fans a lot of false hope.
No, I think it's good. I think it's good hope. I think it's,
Yeah, I mean,
it starts with beating the teams you're supposed to beat, which Duke was not doing.
That's true. Yeah. That is true.
Yeah, I think it's definitely an improvement for them to be 3-0 right now. So.
I don't think Duke was expecting a bowl-eligible team this year. I think they were just expecting a team that came out and competed. I think this is the first time they started 3-0. I forget what year it was. I can't remember what year it was. It was a long time ago. And so, I mean, I think it's a good start. I mean, they start 4-0. They might want Bama.
I'm sure Bama wants them too.
Next one, Billy Napier technically replacing Greg Knox, but replacing Dan.
Yeah.
So.
He's 2-1, but it's a very iffy 2-1. Like nobody's really super happy about it.
Yeah, but here's the thing: we said it last year.
Yeah,
we knew last year Florida's not coming out and they're not competing right away. I think the fact that they beat Utah was really impressive. But
yeah, that was a good one for them.
They weren't, in my opinion, they weren't gonna be competing right away.
Yeah,
and they really need to give him time to build a program. And
yeah,
I've already seen. I guess I won't be seeing it much on Twitter anymore, but when I was on Twitter, people are turning 3 games in, and it's just.
Yeah, that's stupid.
How can you even build a program if your fans are going to turn that fast?
And it happens everywhere in the SEC for the most part. Auburn's turning on Harsin. Tennessee turned on Lane Kiffin.
Sucks though.
It doesn't. It doesn't. This is a Florida thing.
Yeah, I mean,
look. Could you imagine if Jimbo Fisher was the fucking Florida head coach?
Ooh. He'd be gone probably 2 seasons ago. So
I haven't even heard somebody like usually by now someone would be like memes of decapitating Jimbo Fisher. There's nothing. I don't see anything about Jimbo Fisher online from Texas A&M fans. It's all from other people.
That's true.
There were some rumors that he should be fired, but other than that, there wasn't serious.
Shane Beamer at South Carolina. When they think he's God.
Yeah.
Mark Stoops at Kentucky got so much fucking time.
Getting
so much time. I mean,
he gets an extension every time you win 7 games. So
but it's paid off. They've built a team. He's going to leave, but they built a team.
Yeah, they're ranked 8th right now. By
Vanderbilt. Look, they're patient and it hasn't paid off. So
and it hasn't paid off.
I wouldn't necessarily call that. I'd just say that's low expectations, but yeah.
They got academics. They got an A in the classroom. That's all they care about.
It is really hard for Vanderbilt to recruit because they have such high standards.
But seriously, on the Florida thing, I didn't expect them to compete this year.
Yeah, no. They've got to give time. Anthony
Richardson now is clearly hurt. He's limping every play pretty much now, and so I don't know what they have to do, but they weren't competing this year anyways, in my opinion. So build a program and get better for the years to come is the only thing I'd say. And if they don't get time, then they don't give them time. I mean, and obviously stuff will happen if it gets really bad, fire them. But I think you got to give him time to build whatever the fuck Dan Mullen left him. It was time.
Yeah. So they've got to definitely give him time because it's not going to be instant rebuild at all. It's got to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next one. I'm just doing Power 5, by the way.
Miami.
No. It's my time. It's next one. Brian Kelly replacing
Oh,
Coach O at LSU.
I love it because he sucks.
Yeah.
Dude, if you would have told me, in May that grinding on your recruits for recruitment videos wasn't going to work, I would not watch college football.
Yeah, that video was.
It's not the sport for me.
Oh, that was such a funny video, dude.
Yeah. So
Oh,
Brian
man.
Kelly at LSU, I feel like that's.
It's working exactly how I thought it would work out.
Yeah, I feel like it's a lose-lose for both Notre Dame and LSU. So
I mean,
Even if they become good, at what cost? Yeah, Brian Kelly's.
yeah, he's got the fake accent too. That he
Oh,
pulled
yeah,
out.
did the fake accent. Oh, man.
Yeah, I just don't see how he's gonna mesh with the LSU culture at all. It's
The LSU dude,
they had
he-
Napier in their backyard and they grabbed him. Like,
he is so used to the Notre Dame media kissing his ass. Dude, the LSU has already been going after him. The media.
yeah, as they
That
should.
lady that said, maybe if you win games, I'll be on time. Oh my god. He was not expecting that to come from the media.
Yeah, and I'm not that it's his fault, but he'll definitely be compared to Napier. I think in the long run, just how their tenures go.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't
Because
know.
they big time letting them leave the state. So
I think he'll be held to a little bit of a higher standard because of where he came from, though.
oh yeah. I mean, Orgeron, he came in and won a natty. I mean, granted, that team that he had was just completely loaded with NFL talent.
Yeah.
Just insane guys, but he was a guy that really didn't have much of any experience. I don't remember what he was doing before LSU, but he came in and did won a natty for him. So they're expecting probably a lot more from Brian Kelly. He's been in the playoffs with Notre Dame, deserved or not. But
You're going to a school where the guy prior to you was fired not even a year and a half after winning the national championship.
yeah,
Yeah.
the
You're not
expectations there are crazy.
You're not on a long leash. You have to get it going.
Yeah, especially from he's been in the playoffs, like I just said, for Notre Dame consistently, deservedly or not for Notre Dame, but he's been getting them into the playoffs consistently. So they'll be expecting the same thing at LSU.
Yeah, a lot of 10-1 seasons because they don't play 12 games.
By the way,
Yeah.
Coach O, I don't know who said it. I forget who said it, but before Coach O was at LSU,
Yeah,
he
that was me.
was at USC as the interim head coach, and they didn't hire him
Yeah.
because they couldn't understand him. And look what happened. He wins.
Yeah,
He's
he wins.
OS and winning national championships. What more can you want?
They took Clay
Yeah.
Helton
He
instead.
was the year before Clay Helton.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Who's next on your list?
Oh yeah, my list. Mario Cristobal.
He's doing about what I thought he would do at Miami so far.
He's doing worse than I thought he would.
Really?
I mean, he's not a good coach. He's a good recruiter. It's been Oregon kind of showed it and put it on blast a little bit, but not many people pay attention to the West Coast. So, but he's a good recruiter. He'll get a bunch of guys in, but he doesn't really do a whole lot of development. He's not a good coach. So
I sincerely,
he'll get much better recruits than he did at Oregon with Miami because it's Miami. But it'll be up to his staff to develop players because he doesn't do a very good job of that.
I seriously thought that they would at least score a touchdown against Texas A&M.
Yeah. I mean, They
I
still,
mean, that's fair.
yeah, even though they've been bad with Diaz and stuff compared to what they're used to with Miami, but they've had just like a stable of running backs. A bunch of them are in the NFL now, so they should
Yeah.
still be able to run the ball and
I mean,
not
to
really
not
about.
go, to not score a touchdown, I that's I think that's below any expectation that you could even put on. I don't think anybody realistically said that Texas A&M was going to not let Miami score a single touchdown in that game.
Yeah,
Especially after what happened to Texas A&M and App State.
Yeah,
yeah.
so I think it's worse. The Bethune Cookman and Southern Miss, those are what they are, but you, you have to have a better showing against Texas A&M.
Yeah. I do kind of like with Napier too. I think they've just got to give him a little more time, but to get his guys in and get BS's guys out. But it is pretty slow start from what you kind of expect from Miami, though. So
Yeah, Manny Diaz, I didn't realize went to be the DC at Penn State
yeah,
Yeah,
until I was
works so
watching the
far.
Penn State Auburn game.
Yep, Auburn.
Do what?
I said it's worked so far. They held the shit out of Auburn.
I know, yeah.
yeah.
All right, next one on my list. I guess we'll count this as Power Five. Marcus Freeman replacing Brian Kelly at the Notre Dame.
I'm not gonna lie, he's doing worse than I thought he was gonna do.
Yeah.
Really? You
Yeah.
thought, you know,
As much as I hate Notre Dame, I expected Marcus Freeman to do just as good as Brian Kelly did.
Especially after not as good, I don't think, but you expect him to do a little better, especially Marshall, because all their players got behind Freeman immediately, and they love the guy.
Yeah.
So you expect them to play a little better, especially against Marshall. But
I also love Mike Riley, the players. They love Mike Riley at Nebraska, so,
You know what? Good comparison.
yeah,
I mean, it is what it is. I mean,
yeah,
I don't like always saying, it's their first year, give them time, but, like,
it's not his first year though. It
You
is as
got-
the head coach, but he's been there, so
He has
But
been there.
it's a little different than
Just-
other scenarios.
you lost to
He's
Marshall.
promotion from within.
You lost to Marshall. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, that's
home.
bad start.
I broke out the champagne after that. I don't know about you guys.
I laughed.
That's good enough.
Next one, Brent Venables replacing Lincoln Riley
Oklahoma.
at Oklahoma.
I think that's a
hire.
really good hire, honestly.
He's been the lead for Clemson for a while and finally did so.
Yeah.
Credit to Oklahoma for getting him.
Well, I mean, to be fair, they played 3 Group of 5 teams so far this year. UTEP, Kent State, Nebraska. So we'll see how they do against, Big 12 competition.
We'll see how they do against the teams that are back, like Texas.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I mean it's 3G5 teams. You expect them to win.
Their
know,
schedule
they're not-
really isn't that hard this year. I think.
They're not Notre Dame. They're going to win those games, and so
Yeah.
I think realistically they should be 5-0.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And we'll see, what they do against. I think even, regardless of what, Texas might do from now to October 8th, I think that game, that's one of those games that regardless of record or ranking or anything, it's going to be a game.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean,
So-
it's the Red River.
Yeah, it's always going to. So
Why is it called that, by the way? Like, is there a Red River?
yeah, it's the border of Oklahoma and Texas. The Red
Yeah.
River.
Is it red?
No, the dirt is not the water.
Okay, well, I feel lied to.
What a shame.
Oh,
So-
it is. Fuck you. It's reddish. Fuck you.
It's reddish.
Just dirt is not the water.
You don't know shit about your state. Dan Lanning replacing Mario Cristobal at Oregon.
Yeah, he's off to a better start than I thought it would be. To his credit.
The Georgia loss was what it is.
Yeah,
I mean,
Are
to
you gonna
be
lose to
fair,
Georgia?
he does have to deal with Bo Nix.
Look, okay. Bo Nix is hashtag back, first of all.
Actually,
Yeah, I don't know about that one, Chief.
Second of all, I think does Pac-12 not have two divisions anymore?
no.
No, we got rid of divisions this year. It's best two teams will play in Vegas for the conference championship. No more divisions.
God, I hate logic, dude. Yeah, I think the BYU game was a really good one to get themselves back.
It's a good tell. That's why I said I think they've done better than I would have expected.
Next week
Maybe BYU.
their next game
Wazoo.
Saturday at Washington State. It's gonna be a tough game. It's a Washington State so far. They beat whether or not Wisconsin's overrated, we'll see. But it's gonna be a tough game in Wazoo at a team that's right now feeling really good about themselves.
I will say, so
That'll be
speaking
a good
on
measuring stick for both teams.
speaking on Bo Nix real quick, living in Auburn,
He's back.
where Bo Nix transferred from, I think every Auburn fan prays on the downfall of Bo Nix.
He's back. I don't care. He is back.
I've not seen one Auburn fan happy that Bo Nix, won a game or is, doing all right this year. They're like, oh yeah, he should have never left. That's what you get,
Okay, that's very cool. They can do whatever the fuck they want. They have TJ fucking Finley. So
And they want him benched
there you go.
for Robbie Ashford.
How did that work out for you? Bo Nix is hashtag back in Oregon, and you're fucking sucking. So
Exactly.
you lost by 30 at home,
And you're stuck with Brian Harsin. So
Yeah, true. They all want him gone too.
take that, Auburn.
Urban Meyer to Auburn.
But yeah, I think that Wazoo game will be a good measuring stick for both teams. Let's see where they're at.
Oh, absolutely. I
That's gonna
agree.
be that's their first that's their trap. That's probably the first trap game, in my opinion. They have a couple, but that first one, if they can get by that one, I think they're on a really good roll going into the rest of the year for being a top team in the Pac-12.
Oh yeah,
I don't think that they will make it to the championship game, barring hopefully not, but barring if major players get injured. But next week will be the big tell of where the legend of Bo Nix stands.
Yeah,
the championship goes through Bo Nix. Anyways, back to reality. Sony Dykes, love the last name, by the way. Sony Dykes replacing Gary Patterson and Jerry Kill at TCU.
Oh yeah.
I really don't know much about TCU to begin with.
You don't know about the Texas Christian University?
Well, I know about TCU. I don't know, really where they were.
Bro.
Really
13
against Colorado, and then
59-16
against Tarleton State. So
they haven't really played anybody. So I mean, it's a hard measure.
They've got SMU and their old coach next week, so that's interesting.
I won't be watching it because I'll be watching Clemson versus Wake Forest, but I can only imagine a rivalry where your coach leaves for the rival school. So,
oh yeah, it's at SMU too. That's crazy.
Yeah, I think SMU wins that for sure, but we'll see.
But yeah, they're gonna, TCU. They have a hard schedule this year. They're gonna, they gotta face the Oklahomas and the Texas and the Baylor, and so we'll see probably more closer to the state. You can't really judge it off of Colorado and Tarleton State.
Yeah. Although giving up 17 to Tarleton State is kind of making me worry a little bit about them because Tarleton State's not very good at all.
But they were up 38-7 at half. It was
Yeah, that's fair.
Tarleton State has won as many games as Nebraska.
See, I don't think giving up 17 to Tarleton is that bad, but giving up 13 to Colorado, oof.
I mean, Tarleton is a lot worse than Colorado, even though Colorado's bad. But
to be
Yeah.
fair, that last 7 came like at the end of the game. I think
yeah,
it was like 38-6 when that happened.
yeah. So that's not too bad then. But
Next, Joey McGuire replacing Matt Wells and Sony Cumbie at Texas Tech.
I'm a little surprised by Texas Tech so far this year. I think they've gotten off to a better start than I would have expected. So far so good, I think.
I'm expert on Texas Tech because I watched them play one game. No, I their mindset. I mean, the school's mindset, or at least the fans, when I talked to them at the state game, the ones that are around us, at least. Great people, by the way. Love Texas Tech fans. That might be my second team from now on. They're hilarious. But
Yeah,
the guy
they are
sat
great.
down. Like the one guy sat down beside us. He goes, "I'm gonna be honest. I'm just looking to cover today." So
Yeah,
that's kind of the mindset. They. I think they wanted to be optimistic about the season, but their schedule was really front loaded, and they did a good job beating Houston, who now I think most people can say was not good. And then having to go to Raleigh after that was tough, and then they lost. What was their starter? Tyler Shaw, was it?
Chug, yeah. He's Oregon transfer. He's bad.
Yeah, but they thought Donovan Smith would come in, and NC State really, he played good against Houston.
Yeah,
and NC State really let him have it. And it's not it's not the worst thing. NC State's defense, even as a neutral, is probably going to end up being one of the best in the country.
yeah.
So, not the worst, but I really, the general belief I got from fans is they believe they're in the right direction. They're going in the right direction. But I think next week, they got a rivalry home game against the Longhorns. So
Texas is back, baby.
we'll see.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to Bryce Ramirez, I think his name is, the guy that got injured. Hopefully, I think he goes back home tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he DM'd me.
Oh, yeah.
Shouts out you. Love you.
Nice. Yeah.
No, that's one of the worst injuries I've seen, and I'm just glad to know that he's okay and
Yeah.
he'll go home because, yeah, I don't need to talk about it. That was gruesome.
Yeah, you were there to see it live.
I mean, I didn't see it. I mean, I saw the replay of it, but it's not like I could see the injury from my seat.
Yeah.
My seat's not on the 32-yard line.
It's on the 50, field level.
Actually, I'm on the 40.
Oh, close enough.
Do not have to pay $700 for rights to the seat like Louisville. Actually, goddamn, there's 5 more. God, we probably get a couple through these quickly. Lincoln Riley replacing. Hilariously, he's technically replacing Dante Williams, but replacing Clay Helton.
Yeah, and we've already kind of touched on Lincoln Riley a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
It's you know,
He's done what he has to so far. So
yeah. I thought that I thought with the because it was their first conference game against Stanford last week or 2 weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
I thought that they would struggle more with that. Man, they just let the offense just let them have it.
yeah, Stanford's kind of struggling too now. I think Oregon State will be a good test for both Oregon State and USC to have that game this week.
But I think they have a relatively weak schedule, and so
They do.
the only ranked team they play this year is Utah.
Yeah,
I think that 11-1 it should really I think 10-2 at worst, but 11-1 should probably be where they sit, depending on the Utah game, 12-0. But I think 11-1 is
Yeah.
probably going to end up being where USC sits, as long as Caleb Williams is healthy.
I think if they blow out every opponent they're supposed to blow out and they beat Utah, I think they're in probably the number 3 team in the college football playoff.
No shit, they're 12-0. What would you expect?
yeah.
There are a couple of other teams out there, but they don't exactly have the hardest schedule either.
But the thing is, you're 12-0 unless there's 5 12-0 teams.
There could be a few. I mean, even a couple 11-1 teams could deserve to be put in.
You're not gonna have 5 12-0 teams.
Yeah, no.
That would mean Ohio State, NC State, or Clemson, or Wake Forest, Alabama or Georgia, USC, Oklahoma. It's just not possible.
But then we see in 2016, I think Baylor got snubbed. Baylor and TCU.
Good. I'm glad.
I would say if it's like Georgia and Bama at 1 and 2,
I don't care. You don't get no handouts out here.
and then Oklahoma goes 12-0, and NC State or Clemson goes 12-0. You kick USC out.
If NC State goes 12-0, you might not hear from me again. Next, Virginia, Tony Elliott replacing Bronco Mendenhall.
He's doing worse than I thought he would.
I mean, didn't his quarterback get injured indefinitely? So
No, not that I know of.
He's playing.
Armstrong?
Sucks.
Yeah.
He's playing like he's out indefinitely.
Yeah, he is playing like he's trash.
Who's the guy that who was out indefinitely then?
I mean, they lost to Illinois by 3 scores.
Sam Hartman. Wake Forest quarterback.
Yes, Wake Forest. Thank you. Yeah.
They lost to Illinois by 3 scores. I'm not going to touch on the other games. I have no right to say anything about that.
Yeah, just Illinois by 3 scores is tough.
Bring up our Old Dominion game. I think that's a really good talking point. Yeah, dude. Against Illinois, 13 of 32, 180 yards and 2 interceptions. Not good. But yeah, I'm not. I think that they're going to lose this week. I think against Syracuse.
Yeah, because Dino Babers is coaching for his job.
And then depending on which.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, he's not coaching for his job. He's coaching for his extension.
So yeah, I mean, we'll see. I thought Virginia would be better this year, but
I was scared because they hired Tony Elliott. I was afraid that they would be good, but
they look like they might be on the path for another 6-6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brent Pry replacing Justin Fuente.
Actually, he's technically replacing J.C. Price, but he kept J.C. Price on staff.
Nice.
Brent Pry to me is exactly what I imagined Fuente would do year one.
Okay,
Um,
well, let's think about this because as you're saying this, uh, y'all are leading the ACC Coastal.
yeah, 1-0. We beat Boston College 27-10. Um,
Call the season now.
yeah, I mean, I'm happy with the last two games. A lot of Tech fans were very upset with only scoring 27 on Wofford. Um, I really did not care because I know what Pry was doing. He was getting a lot of the younger guys in, the second and third string guys. He was getting them a lot of playing time. He was getting Grant Wells more comfortable with throwing the ball in different looks. He was trying to establish some sort of run game, which didn't really happen. Nothing crazy happened. That happened more against Boston College than it did Wofford. Um,
Did y'all know that Old Dominion's first ever Power 5 win was Virginia Tech?
yeah, I believe it. It was
Yeah.
2016. No,
No, no, the one y'all just lost.
no, because
Or no,
we lost to them in 2018.
yeah, they're only two FBS wins are against Virginia Tech.
Yeah, it was both at Old Dominion too. Um,
Nice.
Just a little fun fact to throw into this.
well, it didn't help that Grant Wells threw 4 interceptions at Old Dominion this year.
I'm just saying it's a fun fact, and I personally think it's a lot of fun.
Our defense only really gave up 7 points, and
However you want to rationalize it.
our defense looks amazing this year. I love the way our defense looks. I'm not gonna lie.
Dude, y'all face fucking Old Dominion, Phil Jerkoffovich, and
Yeah.
Wofford.
Well, the defense has looked really good, and to the point of what you're saying, a couple guys on the Sense of Saturday podcast, which is a Virginia Tech podcast, they were talking about how the offenses we face really aren't good either. Boston College has no offensive line. Wofford is
Y'all,
Wofford, and
these
Yeah.
next 3 weeks are going to be the weeks for y'all because you're facing pretty good offense.
I think the next 5 weeks are gonna be really tough. Actually, all the way until Georgia Tech, it's gonna be really tough. I don't know if West Virginia's really that good offensively. I know they've
They're
got
better
one
than
really
you
good
are.
receiver, but I don't think they have much run game. But our defensive backs, especially Dorian Strong, has
They're
just been
better
getting
than
cooked all year.
they're better than y'all are, and that's all that matters.
Well, we'll see tomorrow night, but I would not be surprised if we lose.
I don't know. It's not. We'll see. I'm like, even if y'all win, I think they're a better team, and so beating them would be an accomplishment. That's what I'm trying to say.
You think West Virginia? Well, okay. I'll give you that because our recruiting has been in the absolute shitter the last 4 years. Um,
It's not. I'm not. This isn't like. I'm not saying this to be like, haha, y'all suck. I'm just saying West Virginia is a better team than y'all.
well, it sounds like
Yeah.
you're saying it because haha y'all suck. Because West Virginia is really not that good. They
They're
have
not.
one. They
But
have their right guard, right tackle, whatever position he's going to play is a Virginia Tech transfer. Their quarterback is a USC transfer.
I'm comparing the fucking 98th team to the 115th team. I'm not saying that one is good. I'm just saying they're better than you are.
If you look at those numbers, it doesn't even
Yeah,
matter
crash versus
because
garbage.
one team has played Pitt at Pitt. The other team has not played another Power 5 opponent worth even mentioning.
Yeah.
And West Virginia played and lost to Kansas in Morgantown. So, I mean, you can sit here and try to say that West Virginia is better based on your stats, but
It's not based on stats. I'm telling you they are.
based on your power ranking, whatever your SPI, whatever it is you're looking at. But
No, I'm sitting in my office fiddling with my fucking dick telling you that West Virginia is a better team than Virginia Tech. This has nothing to do with stats. I'm just saying in general, if I
Yeah.
were to pick a team between Virginia Tech and West Virginia, which team I thought was more talented, I would say West Virginia.
well, yeah, and again, like I said, our recruiting has been in the shitter the last 4 years, and we
No,
lost a Heisman
My point is,
quarterback to Tennessee. We lost
but this
a
isn't
number one
anything
receiver to
against
Kentucky, who's their number one receiver. We
this
lost
isn't
a
anything
four-star
against
flip from Ohio State to West Virginia.
All I'm
Joey.
hearing is that you're losing talent, and West Virginia's better. So.
But what I'm saying is
The
that
one offensive lineman, yeah.
West Virginia is a better team. But I'm saying if if y'all win, that's a huge accomplishment for y'all because I think West Virginia is a better team. I'm not saying West Virginia is good. They're not. Clearly not. Y'all aren't either. I'm just saying that.
I'm not saying we are. I mean, like I said, the Old Dominion loss
I'm not saying
didn't surprise me.
not. But
I told you. Okay, so when we got to Brent Pry, I told you Brent Pry right now is where I thought Fuente would be when he started. And I thought when Fuente started, it'd just be like, carrying on with what Beamer had done. And that was barely getting to 6-6. Like, Beamer's final game was the sixth win against Virginia to make a bowl game. So that's what I expected from Fuente. I expected 6-6, 7-5 at best. Brent Pry right now coming in with what Fuente and Cornelson left him, which is absolutely nothing. I'm expecting very little out of Virginia Tech this year, but I'm pleased with what I've seen so far, especially defensively.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just saying that y'all aren't going to win, and it's okay. It's just you're not a good team, and that's fine. I mean, you're pretty much in the same position as what we were when we got Doran.
Like you said, neither team's good.
Neither team's good.
At the end of the season, Neil Brown's going to be gone, and West Virginia's going to hire somebody else. Who's it going to be? Nobody even knows. Hopefully, Justin Fuente. That should be hilarious.
Yeah, I think Virginia Tech's probably going to end up around looking at their schedule.
Realistically, I see maybe two more wins.
No, I see 5-7.
Yeah, I see 4-6 for West Virginia. I think that's probably where they'll be.
No, Virginia Tech.
Well, I was looking at wins over Georgia Tech and Virginia. I don't know about Duke and Liberty.
Oh, Duke will fall off at that point. The more wins, the more momentum. But once those wins stop, they'll tank. They keep winning. The fuck you're fucked. But at this point,
I do think a lot of these games will be really close though. Like as far as scoring goes, I don't know though because if we face an offense that just absolutely cooks Dorian Strong and just targets Dorian Strong all day, and then we're done. Because our defense is going to be able to stop that, and he's a starting corner. And if he's getting cooked, that shows you how bad our depth is and just how bad we are at the defensive back position.
Yeah.
Front seven, I'm completely fine with. Shamari Connor is our best cornerback by far, and he's a senior, so he's gone after this year. He'll be drafted. Our safeties, not crazy about them.
We're gonna do the final two. All right.
All right. Yeah.
It's the
Who?
Kalen DeBoer, Washington.
Oh, he's doing way better than I thought he was going to
do. I think it's pretty much on par so far with what we were expecting as a Washington fan. He's done. The offense looks a lot better. I touched on it a little bit when we were talking about Penix.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you said they looked 1,000 times better.
It's been night and day. Yeah, Thousands been very conservative, to be honest.
I thought
I have questions about the defense. I love the front seven, but the defensive backfield has been very suspicious so far. I don't know how that's going to do. The defensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator, is changing the defensive scheme too. So we're going from having a nickel starting to having 3 linebackers. So, and only 2 corners now. So, and then we just lost our starters at corner to the NFL too. One's with the Bears, one's with the Chiefs. So it's a lot of question marks around corner, especially for me, and especially later in the game. Thorne was starting to just really get on against Michigan State, and he was just dotting them up. So I'm a little worried about that when we start playing better teams. Luckily, we don't have to play USC or Utah until a potential Vegas trip if we get there. But Bo Nix, the Washington State quarterback,
Washington's schedule
Oregon.
is
That's
really easy.
what we're looking at.
Washington's schedule is like slap in the face easy.
Yeah, we don't have to play USC or Utah this year, so I'm
I would not
very happy with the schedule. We could do a lot of good, I think.
I would not be
to touch a little bit more.
Washington's 9-0.
What?
I wouldn't be surprised if Washington's 9-0. They really don't play anybody.
Yeah.
Their loss was probably going to be last week, and they won.
Yeah. I honestly really didn't see what people saw in Michigan State, though. Like, they had the worst defensive backfield in the nation last year, and we had just loaded at receiver, dude. Like, I mentioned it earlier, too, with Penix, but we managed to keep the offensive staff, managed to keep most of all of our receivers. The only one we really lost was Terrell Bynum to USC, and he hasn't really done much at USC at all yet because they're just loaded at receiver too. So
I think it'll be a good season. So we'll see. I think that there's a really good chance that they end up getting to Las Vegas. I think they're realistically probably 2. I mean, they're going to upset, but I think there's really only 2 games that they could lose in the Pac-12, maybe.
Yeah. I'm looking at Oregon game, depending on how they do. Washington State, if they're still doing okay at the end of the year, just because they were good last year. Although
Washington State
State finally beat us, though, in the worst season in program history. So
that's the reason I would say that DeVore is doing better than I expected, is because he took an offense that was terrible for y'all last year, and he's really turned it around and brought Penix in.
Yeah, we still have the same offensive line coach.
Mm-hmm.
That the offensive line really did terrible last year. But he is a guy that everybody believes in around the program, the offensive line coach, and he talked a little bit about this season last year and stuff, and it was just not good at all. So he's back and he's feeling himself a little bit. So the offensive line has played really well so far. So they've kept clean pocket for Penix. They've done really well in the run game. It's looking really good right now. It's night and day, like I said. Just crazy difference.
Good stuff. Who's the last one, Levi?
Final one. What is going on here? I guess, are we going to count Jake Dickert?
For who?
Washington State.
He was the interim last year, wasn't he? So, is it really? Yeah. I mean,
yeah. Well, we'll count it as interim. Giving them
3-0, 3-0. So,
yeah. I mean, real quick, start off better. Probably better than we thought. It's gonna be a hard season for them. They got to play Oregon.
Yeah, he's had a year to
see in Utah and Washington. So they've got the.
Game 1, I was a little suspect because they struggled against Idaho, and then they came out and beat Wisconsin.
Yeah.
So maybe it was just first game jitters. Maybe everyone was just kind of nervous.
I mean,
not really ready.
He's had offseason now to recruit and stuff, get his guys in. So hopefully that class will start doing well for him. And then I guess we'll see how he's been able to recruit a little bit on defense in the fly.
They have all of the tough teams in the Pac-12 on their schedule to make a name for themselves. So the first one comes this weekend against Oregon, and we'll see how it goes.
So it'll be interesting to see how they do.
All right. Last thing we're going to do is a few of the games to run through some of the top 25 games to watch out or to look or
to watch. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to go in order, and we can make some of them as short as they need to be and talk about some other ones. So first, number 1, Georgia, home against Kent State.
Yeah.
It's going to be a blowout.
Yeah.
That's fine. I don't think they cover Georgia. The line is 45. I don't think they cover.
I think you're right.
It's just what Georgia does. I mean, they only beat Samford 33-0.
Yeah.
By the way, Stetson Bennett pretty good so far this season, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, he's off to a good start.
12
Kent State played pretty well, I think.
12 p.m. on Fox. 3-0 Maryland travels to number 4 Michigan.
You gotta.
I mean, we touched on
Michigan is favored by 17.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
We're expecting that to be a pretty big blowout, though, aren't we? We touched on it a little bit earlier.
I think that this is a game that should be a blowout, but might not be. Have they figured out that quarterback situation?
Last I heard, they were starting each one a half, so I don't know if they've actually picked one yet.
No, they were pulling in Auburn.
So that could backfire. I think Michigan should win, but I think it's a game that could easily lurk around if Michigan isn't careful.
I think Maryland will be very annoying in this game, and hang around a little bit. And they may hang around just until the fourth quarter, and then Michigan figures something out and runs it up.
Yeah, but it's one of those games that if Michigan's not careful, they could fuck it up.
Yeah.
Next, noon on the Alphabet Channel, number 5 Clemson travels to number 21 Wake Forest. Clemson is favored by 7.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting game, I think. Just from somebody that doesn't really watch the SEC, I'm a little bit surprised by Clemson still being kind of up by 5. A little bit surprised, but not really, because they were struggling last year. So it'll be interesting to see where both programs are at right now after Wake Forest locked their quarterback.
It's the first of a very hellacious ACC Atlantic schedule.
Yeah.
It's the only thing that these games tell me is I'm really glad that they're going to pods and getting away from the Atlantic and Coastal. Because you're really flirting on the Clemson, Wake Forest, NC State, and now Florida State's coming back, and they're going to start being good again.
Yeah,
all in one division. So I'm glad this game just makes me glad that we're moving to pods. I think that anything is possible with these Clemson versus Wake, Clemson versus State, and State versus Wake games. If you had to analyze it, I would probably favor Clemson. But again, anything is really possible when it comes to these games.
I could see Clemson winning this one by 14-ish. And that's just because Wake's one of those teams that always starts hot for a few games, and then they cool down a little bit. They'll lose, 2 or 3 out of 5.
It really depends on how DJ Ukulele plays.
Yeah, that's true.
From what I'm seeing, he's starting, and not really on a. He was on a short leash to begin the season.
Yeah.
But
after how last season,
I think Clemson ends up winning. But I can also see a scenario. I can also, I think it'll be close. I think it'll be closer than 14 unless Wake really shits the bed.
No, Wake doesn't really have too much defense though, do they? They're
I mean,
kind of in
does
the
you
same.
just fucking you go fucking lolly, you have a bunch of offense?
I mean,
Because
that's what they've done in seasons past. I mean, they had a walk-on safety playing. Was it 2 years ago? No, it was last year.
sometimes those walk-ons can ball. You never know. I think it'll be close. I do. I think it definitely might hit the over, which is 56.
Yeah.
I can see it. Yeah.
But I think it'll be a close game. But I would edge Clemson just a little bit, but would not be surprised with a Wake Forest one.
Yeah.
Next one. On the Big Ten Network, noon o'clock, Central Michigan travels to number 14, Pennsylvania State. Penn State is favored by 28.
Penn State coming off a big win at Auburn. Really
I
good,
think
really good defensive coordinator.
they win and they cover.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. This game should be close. So.
Noon. God, there's a fucking lot of
noon games. Yeah.
Damn. I think this is a really big. This is a dangerous game. Number 17 Baylor travels to Iowa State on ESPN2. Iowa State is actually favored 2.5.
Yeah, that should be pretty good.
I can see Iowa State winning this game, especially with Baylor coming off a loss. Right, they lost last week. Right.
Yeah. Oh no, it was week 2 to BYU.
Yeah.
Okay, they bounced back with the Texas State win. But still, Iowa State has increasingly become one of those pain in the asses to play.
Yeah. So that should be a really good game. I think Iowa State probably takes that. Baylor seems just a little bit off so far this season.
This is also one of those games that I wouldn't be surprised either way.
Yeah, me too.
Pretty evenly matched.
But it's also one of those rare ones where the ranked team is the underdog.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could see either way. I would say if I had to go on my gut feeling, I would say an Iowa State win. But Baylor's they've been a strong team the past couple seasons in the Big 12, so you never know.
Yeah.
But I think Iowa State. I think Iowa State could win that game.
Yeah, Baylor still hold on to their whole head coach too. He hasn't gone anywhere yet. So
yeah. ACC Network. Rhode Island travels to number 24 Pitt.
Do we even need to talk about this one? I mean, this is in the bag for Rhode Island. I mean, it's not even.
Look, Pitt's playing a team that's probably better than Virginia Tech, and it's an FCS game. Pitt should win. There's not even a score line for it. And so, Pitt, if you don't win, you suck. Finally done with the noon games. 3:30.
This is game day.
3:30. Headline 3:30. CBS. Number 20 Florida travels to number 11 Tennessee. Tennessee favored by 10.5.
Yeah, Tennessee offense is going to be hard for Florida to stop, I think. So
yeah, I agree. I don't know much about Tennessee's defense. Just historically, they can't tackle. But you said Anthony Richardson is limping on every play, so it's not like he's going to be running the ball much.
Yeah, I think Tennessee wins. I think they cover also.
Yeah.
Over under 62. I don't think it gets that
probably
high.
2 touchdowns.
I think it's like a 42-28 type game.
Yeah, I can
Without-
see that.
Yeah.
that would cover, but whatever.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, that's 70.
Florida might not score 28 because they've not scored over 24, 26 all year. They beat Utah 26-23.
But
29, 26 was
Oh,
the Utah game.
29-26. Oh, okay, never mind.
They scored 31, but it was against South Florida. So, 31-28 to South Florida. So
That's embarrassing. I think
1-2.
Tennessee's got a little bit better defense than that. I think, and maybe they don't score 20 on Tennessee then.
Just for history, Florida has won pretty much every game since 2005.
Oh, they didn't win in 2016.
I said pretty much every game.
I know. I'm holding you to it.
They have, the over-under of 62 was only hit twice in that time span.
Yeah.
And so I think, these scores like 38-14, 31-19, 26-20, I think that's probably where we're going to end up seeing that score fall around. But I do think Tennessee wins.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably 2 touchdowns. 2 score.
Yeah.
Win.
ESPN 3:30, number 22 Texas travels to Texas Tech. Texas favored by 6. No, 6.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Texas is back, baby, so Texas winning that one. Give me the over and the line. Texas covers it all. Texas scoring 60 by themselves.
I don't
know how much
That's Big 12 football, baby.
They're going to do, but
I started to like Texas Tech, but
yeah, I don't know if their defense can keep up with Bijan and
this
looks like so.
This looks like a tough game for them, especially coming back after, the loss wasn't enough, but offensively they got the shit kicked out of them. NC State was hitting hard every play. They hit the shit out of Donovan Smith. Their running backs, were getting terrorized, and so, I don't know if they've had enough time to recover with everything. So I think Texas wins, and sure, I'll give them the line. I think they'll cover.
Yeah.
ACC Network, 3:30, Middle Tennessee travels to Miami. Don't even need to talk about that one.
Nail biter.
Miami should win. If they don't, that's unfucking believable because Middle Tennessee fucking reeks. Miami favored by 25.5. They should also cover that. If they don't, again, unranked. They should be unranked if they can.
Cover 25. Yeah.
4 o'clock, Fox. An interesting one for me. Number 15, Oregon travels to Washington State. Oregon favored by 6.5. Over under 57.5. Not sure it gets to that.
I think it will. It should get over, I think.
You think it's over?
I don't think it goes over. I think Washington State has a really solid defense.
I don't think it's over.
From what I saw in the Wisconsin game, anyway.
That's Wisconsin, though.
That's true. They're not known for They're known for running the ball. So.
I think it'll be up to Washington State's defense if it gets the over, because I think the offenses will both do well. But
Oregon should win. I think that this is definitely the definition of a trap game.
Yeah. I think they should win, but you never know.
Yeah, I can easily see him.
Coach, new quarterback, new
quarterback. His quarterback has been playing amazing so far. So,
well, like you said, Bo Nix is back.
He is back,
Hashtag bag.
but Ward is actually the leading passer.
Yeah, but it's
for
bow
this
time.
fair. It is bow time.
Going on.
Always bow time.
Ward hasn't had to play Georgia.
But yeah, I think Oregon wins. I don't think they cover. Honestly, I don't think they do. I think it could be a 3-point game.
Yeah. I was just gonna say they probably win by a field goal. I think.
But yeah, hold on. I have to get back because my fucking computer just.
All right. Well, I'm where you were. 4:00 SEC Network is Tulsa at number 16, Ole Miss. The over under is 65.5. Ole Miss is favored by 21.5.
Ole Miss should win.
Yeah, and they should cover.
Oh, I don't think we need to talk about that. Northern Illinois.
Yeah, at Kentucky.
Yeah.
They're gonna get stomped. This will cover too.
Yeah. I got my spot back. I'm back. I'm back like Texas.
I'm back like Bo, baby.
7 o'clock ESPN. Hold on. Who the fuck put Northern Illinois versus Kentucky on ESPN 2?
Yeah, that should be on like ESPNU or paywall. ESPN Plus paywall.
ESPN the Ocho.
ESPN News.
Yeah.
7 o'clock ESPN. Neutral site. Remember, and this is neutral. AT&T Jerry World. Number 10 Arkansas travels, or not even travels. Well, I guess they are technically traveling.
Yeah.
Traveling. But number 23 Texas A&M. Texas A&M favored by 2. Don't like that one from Vegas. Not sure that came from what has gone on so far.
I think it's from the Missouri State game. From Arkansas, Missouri State, but I think Arkansas was just not playing very aggressive against Missouri State.
In all the game.
I not only do I think Arkansas, the over under of 48.5 also is nuts.
Well, Texas A&M did only score 14 on App State.
Yeah.
You're telling me you think both teams are just going to score under 24?
Texas A&M could. This could be 31-10.
I think that, and I think Arkansas wins, and I think they go over.
All right. That's fair, actually.
I don't know about the over, but I think Arkansas does win.
See, Levi, he doesn't have faith in both teams scoring 24 either.
24? Come on.
I mean, Texas A&M offense has looked bad, so.
They were nervous.
For 3 games.
Nervous all 3 games.
Give them a break. Upset alert in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah.
7:30 SEC Network, Vanderbilt. Number 2, Alabama. Alabama favored by only 40.5.
Seems pretty low.
With a line of 58. Or the over under 58, yeah.
I think that's probably a little. I would say that's pretty on par with how I think the game is going to go. I think it's going to end somewhere probably in the 48-7 or something like that.
Yeah. But you got to think Vanderbilt did lose to one of the best teams in the country in Wake Forest. So
that is true.
Yeah, top 21 team.
They are.
I think that's probably going to end up being around what the score is. Alabama usually, unless
the starters will be benched by halftime, so we'll see.
Unless they really have a point to prove, they usually don't need to run up. So yeah, they should win. They should maybe cover. It's one of the Georgia. It's kind of the same thing with Georgia.
I don't think they'll cover. I think 40.5 is kind of low.
If they cover or not, I don't think anybody really gives a shit.
Yeah.
Nobody should really bet on that.
ABC 7:30. Wisconsin travels to number 3 Ohio State. Ohio State favored 18.5. Based on what I've seen from Wisconsin, I think it's going to be a quick game.
Yeah.
Um,
That game should be over by halftime too. So
yeah, it's not had a good start to the season. It's cool they beat. They run up the score in New Mexico State and Illinois State, but
yeah,
you play Wazoo and not a good showing. So
yeah.
I think Ohio State wins that game pretty easily. ESPN 3, which is fucking nuts that I just said that. 7:30, UConn travels to number 12 NC State. NC State favored by 38 and a half.
Do you think they cover?
No fucking chance.
It's still a team that's better than Virginia Tech.
Unless Devin Leary or the offense really gets it going. I really don't like the over-unders on some of these games. Like when I was going to call them an FCS opponent because that's pretty much what their level is.
Yeah. That's what their stadium is.
They are. It's a huge guesstimation on when you think that these players are going to end up getting benched.
Yeah.
So, do we cover? Maybe. Do we not? Probably. Who cares? As long as we don't let UConn stick around and we play them bad. Lowest ticket, $48 if you want to go see NC State and UConn. I personally wouldn't pay that, but I'll be there anyways. 8 o'clock, Fox. Adrian Martinez leads the Fighting Cats to the number 8 Oklahoma. Oklahoma favored 12.5, over under 53.
What's that stuff we used to say about Adrian Martinez?
He sucks and he should kill himself. Not the last part. I shouldn't say.
Then we used to call him AM 13 or something like that.
Oh, he'd call him 2 a.m.
2 a.m. That's it.
I'm sure you're a nice guy, Adrian. Don't kill yourself, but you suck at football.
Bro, they got 2 a.m. They're taking down Oklahoma for sure.
Yeah, I think Oklahoma wins this game pretty easily.
And I think they covered the line too, and probably the over under.
Man, just want an interesting test for their defensive line, I think, but other than that, it should be pretty smooth sailing for Oklahoma.
I think the only problem that Oklahoma may face is Deuce Vaughn.
Yeah.
If he gets hot. But, Kansas State, you probably really need to stop the run. I'm not sure you're really threatened in the passing game with Adrian Martinez. So, I think they easily cover against Kansas State.
Yeah. If I was Rebels, I'd definitely load the box to stop Vaughn and then dare.
Yeah.
The throw. So
9:30 Pac-12 Network, number 7 USC travels to Oregon State. USC, holy fucking shit!
Yeah, USC favored by 6.
Over under is 70.
70?
Yeah, 71 over under.
What the fuck?
I will say, I think
Who do they think Oregon State is?
Oregon State is good.
I forgot that Addison transferred from Pittsburgh to USC.
Yeah.
This is way more in favor of USC in my eyes.
I guess, if the thing is, they're not even implicating that USC is going to blow them out with the 70. They think it's going to be a close game.
Yeah, because they're only a 6.5 point favorite.
I think if it's a 6.5 point, if it's that close, I don't think it's a shooting. I don't think it's that.
Yeah.
I think USC is offensively stagnated if it's that close.
It's definitely not Big 12 ball like they are pretending like it is.
That's the highest over-under of the week.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's that crazy because they both played Fresno State. Oregon State won 35-32, and then USC won 45-17. So I think USC probably has a little bit of a better defense, but this will be kind of their first test to see where they're at.
Yeah, I think
Chase Nolan's decent.
they should win.
He could a little bit. But, yeah, I don't know. They should be
Corvallis?
favored a little more than 6, but I could definitely see the over-under 71 getting over.
But, I believe, Corvallis could be rocking, and it could be a good environment.
Yeah, Jonathan Smith has done a really good job with that program, too. He's got them on the right tracks. And Oregon State, I'm really high on. I don't know. If they're
Next, 10:15 p.m., ESPN2, Wyoming at number 19, BYU. BYU favored by 22 points. Also want to throw this out here. I watched the last Wyoming game, and they stormed the field because they beat Air Force. So I'm not sure that
17-14 too, Air Force.
Yeah, so I think BYU is probably going to easily win this game.
Give me Wyoming and the points. They got
BYU.
The field for beating Air Force is pretty nasty work. So, yeah, I think BYU probably
BYU should get a pretty big bounce back win. So
yeah.
after that loss last week.
10:30 ESPN, number 13 Utah travels to Herm Edwardless, Arizona State.
That's
Utah favored 15.5. Probably.
Yeah, I think 15.5 is being way too generous to Arizona State.
I agree.
That should be easy pickings for Utah.
I'm honestly surprised that Arizona State has a win.
Who did they beat?
Northern Arizona, I think. Let me check.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Northern Arizona 40-30.
Yeah, so not good. Yeah, I think Utah easily disposes of Arizona State there.
Yeah, especially after they just lost to Eastern Michigan. So that's.
Yeah, although I did hear, just want to throw this out here. Arizona State players have new warm-up music that they do their stretches to, so they might be turning it around.
I mean, Emory Jones hasn't been good so far, but they do have to
underestimate the warm-up music.
Yeah. Arizona State does have a good running back that Utah will have to worry about in Valladay, but he's averaging almost 7 yards a carry, 6.9. He's averaging 120 yards a game, even though they're getting just crushed by other teams.
Well, if that's the case, all you have to do is stack the box and then play man coverage.
Yeah. Because they've got Emory Jones on the other side throwing balls against their defense now. So
he transferred from Florida, didn't he? Oh.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. He's throwing % so far. 60% completion rate. So against Utah, that's not going to work. So.
Yeah.
Lastly, Fox Sports 1, 10:30 p.m. Stanford. Well, I guess this is by Eastern Standard Time. All these things too.
Yeah.
Stanford travels to number 18, Washington. Washington favored 13.5. And I think they'll win.
Yeah, I think Washington does get revenge for last year a little bit. You guys remember the story from last year? What happened with the Stanford team? They came up to Seattle, and Stanford had to practice in a park in Seattle, and then they beat us in Husky Stadium. So that was tough, but I think Washington should get it done.
They did
The
a public workout
good.
like Kraigen and still whooped y'all.
Yeah, this is a good test. Probably the best test so far. I really am not high on Michigan State at all. So, offensive wise, Stanford probably a little better. I think they've got Emmett Smith on at running back. He looked really good against USC. So that'll be something we have to worry about. So I do like the front seven for Washington. So they should be able to stop him enough for not to matter. But we'll see. Teneric McKee, he's in his second year replacing Davis Mills. He's okay at quarterback. I think he's a little better than Davis Mills. So, but Mills was awful at Stanford. So that's not saying much. But I think he could give the defensive backs a little problem if he can connect with his receivers. Because I'm still not sold on corners yet. So
No, I like Washington a lot in this one.
Yeah.
I mean, no brainer. I think Stanford's having a rough year, if I remember correctly. I think you said that actually to me earlier in the week.
So David Shaw's definitely on the hot seat this year. He's got to do something because he has a long leash.
A lot of coaches on the hot seat this year.
They've given him a long leash because of what he means to that program. He's been basically just a legend there so far. So he's got a little bit more of a leash, but yeah, like last year I think it was they had like 6 total offensive linemen healthy on scholarship. They lost like 3 starters, 3 backups, something like that. So they were really thin. So they got a little bit of a pass for the offense there. They did lose Austin Jones, their running back, to USC. He's in USC now with Travis Dye, the Oregon transfer. So that's kind of a tough loss, but like I mentioned just a few minutes ago too, though, they've got Emmett Smith on now at running back, and he looked good against USC. So,
is there anything else you guys want to discuss?
I think that's about it.
Yeah, that's it for the top 25 games.
Yeah. I don't think there's any other games worth mentioning. I think the Florida-Georgia game is a big one. I think.
That's not this week.
Oh, sorry. I meant Florida-Tennessee.
We already talked about it.
I know. I'm just saying. I the games we discussed. That's a big one. Clemson makes a big one. No, I'm tired actually.
He's lying. Yeah, we were on the call before he started live streaming, and he was definitely doing cocaine. He was doing cocaines and abortions. Arrest him, Alabama.
Yeah. What's new? Let's see. There's the Notre Dame North Carolina game.
Yeah, who cares?
The few North Carolina fans and Notre Dame.
The Fox Sports 1 noon game is the Duke Kansas 3-0 battle.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's a big one. I watched that
It's
one.
not.
Winner of that one gets ranked number 1 in the nation. I don't care what you say.
No, I'm tired of this stupid. Oh, Kansas and Duke should have got game day. No, they shouldn't have. They suck.
I never said that. I can't believe people said that.
Sold out.
You say it is sold out?
No, it's not.
It's not. It's at Kansas, isn't it?
Yes.
Damn. No wonder it's not sold out. Didn't Duke sell out last week?
They sold out because NCAA fans travel really well.
Oh, that's right. It was an in-state. Yeah, that's right.
People are like, "Oh, that should have been game day." When they announced game day, I looked, and Kansas was like 15K short of selling out. Like, what is going on here? What are we doing, people?
Oh man, I did see a lot of people saying that Kansas and Duke should have been game day. Now I think about it.
I know game day's kind of a joke. Okay, it's almost sold out now.
Almost. It's still not sold out, and
Almost.
it's 3 days away. 2 days now.
It's
But
still. It's probably like 250 seats from selling out. And that's selling out on like the actual website. That's not even selling out. Like, you know how many people are probably selling tickets on fucking Ticketmaster and SeatGeek and shit?
yeah.
Idiots. I hate people.
Oh,
It's just because the two trash teams who happen to be undefeated this far, 3 games into the season.
Dude, just because App State got it doesn't mean we need to start fucking traveling to all the fucking scrubs. Kansas and Duke get enough attention every other month during basketball season. Fuck them
Yeah.
during football season. They don't exist during football season.
I don't even think App State should have got game day last week, personally.
no, they shouldn't have. But
Where would you put it of? All the other games sucked.
I'm sure there's another game that wasn't. I mean, there was the A&M and Miami, Oregon, BYU. Those are both
You could
ranked
not
versus ranked.
put game day in A&M after that.
Oh,
Yeah,
after they
no.
lost to App State?
No.
No, true.
yeah,
Maybe
That is just salt in the wound, huh?
BYU Oregon, yeah, sure, but
yeah, should have been Bama ULM.
oh yeah, totally. Sorry,
Yeah,
man.
for
Okay,
sure.
game day was it.
The 3:30 game on Big Ten Network could be pretty good. Minnesota, Michigan State.
Yeah, that's true.
Game day atmosphere, Kansas.
In Lawrence,
Nothing.
Kansas.
There's no game day atmosphere.
It's just Kansas. It's just tall grass and corn.
Oh,
It's like Nebraska, but less corn and more tornadoes.
4:00 trash versus garbage matchup on ESPNU. UCF and Georgia Tech.
Yeah. Well, Jeff Collins is getting fired after this year if he doesn't get fired mid-season.
He'll get fired mid-season.
Who else is on the hot seat? Scott Satterfield's on the hot seat. Dino Babers is on the hot seat. Cammy, you said Stanford coach is on the hot seat.
Yeah, David Shaw probably on the hot seat if he doesn't perform this year.
Northwestern will never fire Pat Fitzgerald.
Herm Edwards was on the hot seat, but then they fired him on the field. So
So was Scott Frost, and they fired him the next morning. And then he celebrated coming out.
$350 for a Kansas season ticket. Good.
Seems a little overpriced, but
Yeah, it's concerning NC State, who's number 12 in the nation, is $400. You can go to fucking Louisville for $180.
Yeah, I remember you saying that before we started. All right, I guess that's gonna do it for this episode of the podcast. We'll try to get back to it soon, and then try to get into some sort of regular schedule, or at least on some sort of weekly basis instead of once every quarter of the season.
yeah,
it's a quarterly update.
Yeah, actually, that's fine. All right, we'll see you all when we see you.